So after week 1 of predictions, I am narrowly at the top of the league. 1 point separates us, but these are your fixtures for match day 34, and let's get straight into it. So starting things off with Derby County versus Stevenage. Now this is going to be a very tight game. Both sides having very impressive seasons by their standards. Stevenage, I think they had bought really well in hindsight. You look at some of the talent that they've got. All three Thompsons are very good players from my experience. Derby County, on the other hand, they've been right up there. They're fighting for automatic promotion spot. So I can see this game being very, very tight. In fact, I can't see either side being separated here. Derby County need all 3 points, but I don't think they are going to get it. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw that will see Stevenage taking a point back to the Lamex. FC24, on the other hand, has predicted a Derby win, narrowly winning against Stevenage, however. Now, on to Wycombe versus Oxford. Wycombe very hit and miss, obviously having that very impressive performance not so long ago against Peterborough, who again are at the top of the league. Obviously a disappointing loss against Bolton, but it's to be expected, you can't win them all. Oxford, on the other hand, they're very hit and miss again. They look very impressive against us. They probably could have gone on and got all 3 points if they just stuck it out in that second half. But then I go and see them dropping points against the likes of Reading and other clubs that I just don't think they should be doing that to. So I'm going to go with a home win here. I think Wycombe are going to have too much for them. They're looking a little bit more improved, a little bit more like the Wycombe of old. And I think they are going to win the game 2-0. FC24, on the other hand, predicts that Wycombe will take that early lead, but they think that they will blow it in that second half. In a second half where Oxford were quite unlucky not to go on and win the game. Now over to Shrewsbury versus Wigan. Now, Shrewsbury have looked a lot better since replacing their manager. Obviously, that new manager balance is in full effect. But Wigan, again, they've just been battling all season, been right up against it, and they've proved everyone wrong. I thought they were going to go down at the start of the year, but they've really defied the odds, and they are flying at the minute. I think they're going to continue that. It's been a very impressive season for Wigan, despite all the circumstances. I think they are going to win this game 2-1. FC24 had a similar prediction to my one, thinking that Wigan will destroy Shrewsbury, but only get the 2 goals. They could have won by 4 or 5, in all honesty. Now, on to my club, Portsmouth, and we take on Reading, another club that is in financial difficulties at the minute, and it's not looking good still at Reading. But from a Portsmouth point of view, we've got to do our job. We've got 13 games left. We've got to win, I reckon, about 11 to win the league. I think our game on Tuesday night showed that we don't have to be too good in the first half, but if we come out in the second half and play like we did against Cambridge, against Reading, I think we'll have too much for them. That's why I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for us. And I think we just got to start a little bit better, especially against the bigger teams. They will not let us off. Now, SC24 predicted a similar result to me. Despite Reading going 1-0 up, Portsmouth dominated for the entirety of the game and managed to make that payoff late in the second half where they found their winner. Now, on to 2 clubs that are just not in form at the minute. Peterborough versus Blackpool. And it's going to be, in my opinion, a ball draw 0-0. Peterborough needed that game on Tuesday, in my opinion, to play a club like Port Vale, who are really, really struggling this season, and just to get a gritty 1-0 win. But they just couldn't do it for the pitch is not good enough, and I think it's going to really cost them here. I think Blackpool will take some confidence out of knowing that Peterborough are not in the best run of form at the minute. I think that Peterborough, they need a win at some point. They need to win here. I don't think they will. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw, like I said. Now, SC24 has thrown out a bit of a rogue result here. They think that Blackpool will go to Peterborough and actually win the game quite comfortably in the end, despite Peterborough probably being the better side on the whole. If you are enjoying the video so far, please make sure to hit like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel and means you do not miss a future upload. Now, Northampton versus Bristol Rovers. Northampton, I don't really know what to make of them. Some weeks they're very good, some weeks they're very poor. Bristol Rovers seem to be a little bit more revitalised now under new management. Obviously, the manager galvanising the fans after the last game, telling them to stick with him. I think they will not need to worry about sticking with him. I think they're going to win this game away at Northampton in what would be a very impressive result for the Gas. I'm going to go with a very narrow win, but a 1-0 win away for Bristol Rovers at Northampton would be a very impressive result for them. FC24 thinks this is going to be a very boring game. Neither side really look like threatening. I think both sides will take a point going away here. Northampton will be the more unhappy though. Now on to Lincoln versus Exeter. Now, Exeter, they've looked good up until the last couple of games. Lincoln, they're just a very solid club. And at home, I can't really see them dropping points. Exeter, again, they could go and do it. I'm not really too sure. It's just 2 mid-table clubs that could really, either of them could go on and win here. But I am going to predict a home win. I think it's going to be a very comfortable home win. I'm going to go with a Lincoln 3-1 win. That's it. Now on FC24, despite Lincoln taking an early lead, Exeter started that comeback from 2-0 down and ended up winning the game 3-2 deep into stoppage time. Now on to the surprise factor of this, in my opinion. Leyton Orient versus Burton. Now, at the start of 2024, Leyton Orient looked very good. They looked unstoppable almost. But over the last couple of games, they've not quite looked as convincing. Obviously, relying on late goals, and that loss at Barnsley will not have helped them. But on the other hand, they're just a bit of a solid club. I think they're going to sit there. I don't think they're going to be trying to get a goal. I think they're going to just about survive, trying to just sit back in two banks of four and just tell Leyton Orient to come break us down. I don't think they will be able to break them down. I'm going to be going with a 0-0 draw. Now, an identical scoreline here, but a completely different game, as Burton were the ones that took the early lead. Leyton Orient made it 2-1 just before half-time, but the Brewers came out and dominated the second half. Now, over to Highbury, where Fleetwood Town are playing Barnsley in what for them is a must-win game, in my opinion, but I don't think they will. Fleetwood needed to make more use of that favourable run of fixtures that they had. Obviously, getting 2 wins was huge for them, but defeats against Lincoln and a draw against Reading will not have helped their cause. Barnsley, on the other hand, they're up the top of the league for a reason. They're going to go there, and in my opinion, they're going to go and do the business. I think they are going to win quite comfortably. I have predicted a 3-0 win for the away side. Now, FC24 completely agrees with me on this one, as they've predicted the exact same scoreline. Barnsley took that early lead and managed to build on it in that second half, completely dominating Fleetwood. Now, on to Cheltenham versus Port Vale. I think Cheltenham are going to win narrowly here because Port Vale haven't looked good. Obviously, they did have that Tuesday off there, but they would have still done the match preparation. They still would have travelled to the ground because it's called off ridiculously late, which is something that does need to be removed from football. If we're going to have pitch inspections, we have them at least 2 hours before the game, just to allow the fans time if they are on their way to get back and they haven't travelled too far. But anyway, less about that. I think that Port Vale are going to lose this game narrowly still. I think Cheltenham are a little bit hit and miss, but I think in these sorts of games, they need to win them. I think they will win them, especially... Now, FC24 went with completely the opposite prediction to what I went with, but Cheltenham could count themselves unlucky in this one, as they probably had the better of the chances, but Port Vale made theirs count. On to Carlisle versus Cambridge now. Carlisle haven't won in 5. They look really poor. They are going to go down, unfortunately. Great fan base and a great club. However, Cambridge haven't looked very impressive. I don't think they're going to put Carlisle to the sword in a similar way that we couldn't do it. But Cambridge, they look really poor in the second half against us on Tuesday night. First half, they looked very much in the game, but I think that's because we weren't playing as well as we know we can. Obviously, letting them get in the lead there. But I think it showed a lot about Cambridge, the fact that we managed to get back into the game with relative ease, obviously scoring not too long after their opener. I think they will win the game narrowly still, but it's going to be concerning times for. Now, at half-time in this one, I thought myself and FC24 were going to have the exact same prediction again, but Carlisle came out a completely different side and deservedly got that goal that earned them a point. On to our final game now, where Bolton take on Charlton. Bolton obviously at the top of the league, Charlton at the bottom. Nathan Jones hasn't quite had that new manager effect that he would have wished for, and the more time that goes on there and the more losses they get, the worse it's going to get from him, in my opinion. I think for a new manager to work, you really need to have that good start, and it tends to happen most of the time, but it hasn't happened for Nathan Jones. Once regarded himself as Europe's top most informed manager or something like that, and now he's at Charlton at the bottom of the league, so there's a lot about him as a person. But anyway, Bolton on the other hand, they've struggled over the last couple of weeks. They'll take massive confidence from a win against Wycombe on the Tuesday night, but I think they are going to go and win again here and back that up. Very important they do go and back that up because Portsmouth are starting to pull away. Obviously, we've got those games in hand on us, which means that they could go top if they do win them, but it's never nice to see a club going further and further ahead, knowing you've got to play catch-up, especially their congested fixture schedule that they've got coming up. So I think this is going to be a massive game for Bolton. I think they're going to win it quite comfortably. I've predicted a 2-0 win for the home team. FC24, like me, thinks that Bolton will win very much in convincing fashion after putting a first half good start to a second half domination. So as you can see, all the predictions are coming up now for you, but I want to take this opportunity to thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and help us on our road to 100 subscribers, and comment down below your predictions for this weekend's action.